Hey guys, what's up? Yup, it was about time I made something like this because it's been a while since I published my newest book, The Reaper's Thorn, and I thought, hey, I have 10 books already. Oh yeah, 10 self-published books. Why not a top 10? And it happened. It's here. This is probably going to be my last video for Christmas, so Merry Christmas! And I thought of doing something special, and what better topic was there than my books? Oh yeah. I'm sorry if I'm using my channel to advertise my books, but that's pretty normal, I guess. I'm a writer as well, so I gotta do this. Top 10 Erick Landon books. That's right, not best books, because first of all, I think I'm the worst person out there to decide which one of my books is the best. I think that's something that the readers, the fans, the critics have to decide, not me. So I'm just going to go with this top in chronological order. I mean, number 10 is gonna be the first book I have ever published, and then so on, and yeah. I'm gonna talk to you about them, and I'm gonna show just images. There is some official artwork of these books. There's some unofficial artwork, and I'm gonna show it as well. I can't show gameplay, obviously not, I'm sorry. But hey, it's just not gonna be my damn face the entire video, don't worry about it. Let's do it! Number 10. Number 10 is a book in Spanish. It's called, in English, it will be translated as Prelude to Oblivion. So what's it about? It's about a woman who has lost her memory. And yeah, I know the amnesia cliche. And all of a sudden she wakes up in this deserted dystopian village, and she finds this kid, more like the kid finds her, and then he takes her to the village, and then she recovers, and then she starts remembering things, and she knows she has to search for a little girl, and little by little you start, well, almost from the beginning you realize this girl was kind of adopted by her, and she's technically her daughter, so she starts a quest on trying to find her. That's all I'm gonna say. This book, if you guys want me to translate this to English, let me know. I'll try my best, but I have other books to come. Okay, so number 9, my second book. This is a book you all know very well, and that is Terra Gaiden. The story of this book, I think I told it very clearly on another video called I Am a Writer. Watch that video, because otherwise I'm just going to spend 5 or 10 minutes talking about each one of my books. I mean, I could spend an entire hour talking about them. They're my books after all. But okay, Terra Gaiden. Well, it's a great book. You all know it's about sort of like influenced story by Fire Emblem and Suikoden style, and about a mercenary who gets hired by a group of survivors from a massacre, a disaster. It's a captain from an army and a priest that's a strategist. And together with this mercenary called Lawrence Silverrain, the protagonist, they create this small army, and it grows little by little to fight this other army, which isn't necessarily evil or bad. It just has a different perspective on things in life, like all politics and governments in this world out there. So yeah, Terra Gaiden, it's like an RPG at the same time, but it's a book through and through. So Prelude to Oblivion, you can't find it anywhere right now. I'm sorry, I promise I'll look into it. And Terra Gaiden, you can find it on Amazon, both in printed physical edition and digital edition. If you guys want to read it, I'll leave the link in the description below. My English obviously wasn't that good back then, so you're gonna have to excuse me for being a little amateurish in the writing, but according to a lot of people who have read this book so far, they love it, and it's a great story. And next is yet another story influenced by Fire Emblem and Suikoden. I made 2 books, because if I was gonna have an English story, it's not the same book, but it's technically the same style. And if I was gonna have a book in English, I definitely needed to have a book in Spanish. And it's about technically the same. It's about a captain who deserts his empire, his army, because there's a lot of things that he just doesn't see eye to eye with the king and with the other officers, and they're starting to do some real damage to the nation and to the continent. And the protagonist, this Captain Orion, he just wants to stop that. So again, it's a book about perspectives, about military perspectives, and this captain starts building an army. He hires some mercenaries and all that jazz. It starts like a Suikoden game, for so to say. So yeah, this is a great book, and this is out of stock right now. It has been out of stock for like, wow, almost the entire year. I really need to reprint this book. It's in Spanish, not translated to English. Maybe someday, who knows. The Revenant Army, yep. This was kind of the book that started giving me I don't know, some success in my city. I mean, a lot of people started knowing me because of this book. Next is a book, this little guy here. It's called in English The Miserable Tales. It's a compilation of 10 short stories of horror, psychological horror, mystery, suspense. Pretty good. Only in Spanish. I recently translated the first short story of this book to English, but that was a Patreon exclusive. If you want to read it, you have to become my patron. So yeah, this is a book that I wrote literally because I wanted to have something that wasn't fantasy, that wasn't just anime style or video game style, so that I could approach another market, an outside market, and maybe if they like this book, they could get into my fantasy world. And that was a strategy, and it worked out. Stories were good. A lot of people bought this game. I printed a lot of these small copies, and it sold fairly well, actually. And I wasn't mistaken, but people preferred to buy my novels instead of this one. But since this one was cheap, a lot of people just bought it because of that. And hey, it ended up being quite a success. Next is this. Yeah, I already talked about this book in the censorship video. Censorship in JRPGs. I talked about it. Yes, it's in Spanish. According to a lot of my readers, this is the best book I have ever written. It has 2 volumes. I'll show the second volume in a while. Translation to this is probably Nick's Inferno. This is a very weird, obnoxious, and I don't know how to call this in English. It's about a rabbit. Oh yeah, a rabbit with schizophrenia. And one day he's making some research about humans, and this mysterious woman called Nyx appears to him and tells him that she's here to destroy humanity. Not the world, just humanity. And they start on a quest on destroying this humanity. And little by little, this rabbit starts realizing that there's yet another character that seems to be pulling the strings in all the story, in all the plot, in all this dark and twisted plot. And her name is Madeleine. And she starts this crazy quest, not alongside Nyx and Lucius, the rabbit, but on her own. And it's just so goddamn weird. You really need to pay attention to this book because it's really hard to get into. There's a lot of hatred, a lot of rancor, resentment, gore even. And to me, this book was like my way to express my enormous dissatisfaction with the Mexican society. I mean, society in general, people in general, maybe not only in Mexico but the entire world. So this is a strong criticism to society in general, to probably how people are nowadays and all that jazz. It's a very strong book. And next is Seven Shadows. You all know this book very well. I have been promoting this book since a while, and originally it was written in Spanish, and unlike Terra Gaiden was originally written in English. Seven Shadows was originally written in Spanish, and again, I was really pissed off back then with society in general, which is one of the reasons why I decided to move to Nottingham, UK. But we'll get to that later. And well, it's the story of an assassin. It's a book that plays with perspectives, very, very heavily plays with perspectives. And I mean this because a lot of people love Alice, the protagonist, the character, and there's a lot of people who absolutely hate her. And I'm serious. A lot of readers, this is a book that has sort of like mixed reviews because there's two narrators in this book. I am narrating on third person, and Alice is narrating on first person. And her version of the story is quite twisted, and a lot of people don't agree with her choices on her quest. Her quest is about murdering the 7 people whom she calls Seven Shadows, that in her opinion ruined her life. And this is a book that starts pretty fast. It's a short book, 100 pages long, and like I said, you really need to, if you're gonna read this book in Spanish or English, you have to read until the end, otherwise you won't understand anything about Alice or about the story itself, because you are reading this book from the antagonist's point of view. So that's the point. It's not for you to hate the character, but of course the point is to question her, to start saying, why is she doing this? I mean, did these people deserve to die just because they did this to her? And you move on with the story, you reach the end, and you finally get some clearance out of it. It's a great book. Totally recommended. Next is a book that I don't have on physical format. It's always been a digital exclusive, and it's free to read. I'll leave the link in the description below. It's called The Shattered Sky. What's it about? Well, it's about a group of characters, of strangers, locked up in a city, in a deserted city, sort of like Gantz. I don't know if you've seen that anime, Gantz. And there's this machine that tells them that if they want to go back to their reality, to their world, they need to kill each other. Whoever kills somebody makes it outside, returns to their home, and that's the whole story about a group of strangers just trying to survive. Of course, there's powers, there's swords, and there's a lot of dark stuff, and it ended up being a really dark story, twisted story, and like I said, it's very short. If you read this, you will probably feel like you're reading a draft for a huge novel or for something that should be longer. And I agree, I would like to return to this book one day and turn it into a 200 pages long novel. But for now, it's a really short story for free. Enjoy it. So here's the second volume of Nick's Inferno. It's the second part. I already talked about it. Same plot, same characters. You know, it's technically a book cut in half. So maybe I have only published 9 books. I don't know, but there are two books in physical version. Again, it's only in Spanish. This is the one that I want to translate the most, but I'm afraid that's gonna be a little hard because translating this book to English will change a lot of context. Not the language itself, everything can be translated, but a lot of the context in this story is something that maybe only people who understand Spanish or were born in Spanish speaking countries will probably understand. I'm not sure if I should translate this book to English I don't know, guys. Like I said, it will seriously have to change a lot of context, and I just don't think I can do it. I can translate this book. I don't think I can. Maybe I will need help from a professional because, like I said, there's just a lot of context here. Next is Morgana Code. Again, this is one of my most praised books out there. This is probably going to be the next book that I translate to English. The Shadow Sky, it's in English, but Morgana Code is in Spanish. This is about an organization called Relic that kind of defied the government and won over the government and became a military empire with agents going out in the streets, recruiting people, recruiting intelligent people to work for the organization, or just plain killing them if in case they're stupid or useless or ignorant or whatever. In other words, this is yet another strong criticism against society, against the sheepish society that there is out there in the world. These agents are out there to reform society. But little by little, the two protagonists are two agents. Little by little, they start realizing that this organization is hiding some really dark secrets. This organization sends these two agents, Renzel and Sasha, to a suicide mission. Of course, when they are sent to this mission, they don't know it's a suicide mission, but they were kind of supposed to be killed. Why? Because whenever somebody starts questioning this organization, the organization has them killed. And these guys get recruited by another agent that is secretly trying to defeat this organization, and they start working together, blah blah blah. I'm not gonna say anymore. I hope that's enough to hook you up. And if you guys want me to translate this book to English, do so. I really want to do that, and I think it's almost a fact. This is the book that I want to translate to English the most anytime soon, and it will probably happen next year. Morgana Code, coming soon in English. This book needs no introduction. You've been seeing this book almost in every single one of my videos for the entire December marathon. I've talked about it a lot of times. I made like 3 videos about it, and it's a book about a bounty hunter who gets hired by the Christian church to investigate certain crimes revolving around this ghost that the hunter himself refers to as a wraith. Wraith is a mythological creature from the Nordic mythology. And it's pretty interesting because this guy has an obsession with this ghost, with this wraith, and starts a quest on trying to find this wraith and hunt it down and destroy it for good, and through several countries in Europe and America. And there's a lot of history involved. It's not exactly a history book, there's just a lot of historic events. I mean, the events of my book happened during those historical events from the 19th century in Europe and America. So that's what's so interesting about it. I was living in Nottingham when I wrote this book. I made a lot of research. I visited some places in which my character visits well, and I don't know, it's probably the book I have worked in the most, and in my opinion this is the best book I have written so far. Of course, my readers and critics and everyone will have their own opinion. There's a lot of people out there who have read almost every single one of my books, and most of them have praised this book as well. They loved it, and it's right now on sale on physical format in Amazon, and also on a digital format in Amazon. I'll leave the links in the description below. Don't forget to check them out because this book is amazing. That's it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends. See you next time. Merry Christmas, and I guess I'll see you next year. Oh yeah. This is a closure of my December marathon. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I don't know if I'll ever do this again because it was really hard. I'm kind of burned out right now, and I'm gonna take a break. This is my last video. I'll be back around January the 1st. I'll try to upload some new video on January 1st. If not, maybe January 4, which is Friday. that's it, guys. Thanks for watching and see you next year.